Good morning, YouTube family and friends. Hope you had a good week. My week was, yeah, you know how my weeks usually go. Today is Saturday, November 22nd, 2025, and this is my week 87 results of being back on Mounjaro while dealing with a host of medical issues. So I'll go ahead and start again with my weight. Last week I had weighed in at 225, which was 0%, so no up, no down. This week it's the same thing, 225. So at least I'm not gaining. That's good. So, but all right, updates on my MRI that doesn't seem like I can get. So the update is I'm still waiting to hear from the nurse from the ENT office, 'cause she was going to get back into touch with the Inspire rep, because I had let her know that I am pissed right now because radiology at the hospital is saying that due to the restrictions that are really strict on this, because I got the most recent, most current Inspire device for my sleep apnea, and they said that you can get an MRI with it. They reassured me, both the Inspire rep and the ENT doctor and nurse, because I asked several times before weighing the decision on whether to get this or not. Well, the radiology says that they're just too strict of a restrictions. And I know part of the restrictions. It says you can get an MRI, but you can only be in the MRI for 30 minutes. That's enough time for one scan. And then you can't have a second MRI for at least 90 minutes, I think is what it was. So, and the type of MRI that my liver doctor needs in order to get a good reading for the liver and how hard it is, I guess how much fat in there, and some other stuff that she needs. It requires a 3-image MRI. It's part of it is called elastic something, or something elastic MRI. So, and that alone takes 30 minutes, but there's three, radiology says there's 3 images that we have to do, and normally it would just be 90 minutes. But since the restriction, one of the restrictions is that you can only be in the 30 minutes, because what the MRI puts into your body, it will, if it's longer than 30 minutes, there's a very good chance that the Inspire, the battery packed, will heat up superly and can burn my insides and possibly burn through the skin. I don't know. And then there's also a restriction on the power of it or something like that. I don't understand that. I don't know the technical side of all the restrictions. No, the radiology didn't go through that with me, but I know they're there. So the radiologist says I was misled because of the restrictions. So I'm pissed, because I was going back and forth on whether or not to get this, because I was so scared of not being able to get scans. And the ENT doctor and nurse knew that I had liver cirrhosis, and I will have a definite need in the future of all types of scans. And they kept reassuring me that, oh, no, you can get an MRI. There's not going to be any issues. So with that, and of course I had looked up, I watched a video of what the Inspire implant surgery looks like. So I watched a video of someone having it implanted. And then I also looked at Facebook groups where there's no communities of people who had Inspire, and they're all positive. So I said, that's great. The surgeries, like I can deal with that. That doesn't scare me away. But the one sticking point that I had was focusing on my liver and the need to have scans. And they kept reassuring me, no, you can get an MRI, you can get an MRI. And so if they would even just said, well, this new Inspire battery is yes, you can have an MRI, but we can't guarantee it with the restrictions are on it. And if they would have said that to me, I most likely would not have gotten the Inspire device because it would have been too big of a risk. No, I would just have to continue to try to cope with the CPAP machine, even though I hate it with a passion. I would have continued with it. So, because I could not affect the chances of not being able to get scans because for my MRI. So, yeah. And the radiologist says you can still get MRIs of like your of my head. No, that's no issue. It's just the abdomen area. So pretty much my torso. I cannot get an MRI. She said of my abdomen area. So I think it's pretty much the torso. So it's like she said, I'm sorry, but I said, well, maybe if the liver doctor didn't want such a big scan, no type of scan. But then again, it's like that's the scan she needs to get a proper reading on where my liver cirrhosis is at. So yeah, I'm pissed. And I messaged the ENT nurse that says, no, I've been told by radiology they spoke with Inspire reps or Inspire company and they made sure they had the right documents for the restrictions. So they have the right document with all the restrictions on it. And so and they came back and said I will never be able to have an abdominal or abdomen MRI for my liver cirrhosis because a simple MRI is not what they need. They need the 3-image MRI with part of it being elastic or something elastic. So I told her the only way I'm going to be able to get an MRI in the future is I have to have the implant removed. And so oh man, malpractice is what it is, misleading. It's like going to buy a car, buying something expensive, and you get high pressure sales tactics where they tell you what you want to hear just to get you to buy the damn thing. So I have not. She was supposed to call me back this week, and she never called me back because she said she will get back in touch with the Inspire reps and see what they say. But she has not gotten back to me yet, so that's not a good sign. So I think she's learning that the radiologist was right. So, but I did message my liver doctor this week. I asked her, I gave her an update because she asked for updates, and I gave her the update of what the radiologist said, and she's like, okay, well at this point we are okay with not having an MRI right now. So I asked her, no, I understand that as of right now you think that we'll be okay since I'm not having any decompos decomp what do you call that? Decompensated symptoms. I got portal hypertension. I got an enlarged spleen with a low platelet count, but the platelet count is a little bit above 100. So long as it stays above 100, that's okay. I don't have any bleeding yet from my varices in my esophagus, which is called esophageal varices. And the ultrasound that I had done last month, no, didn't show any fluid in the abdomen that it can see, but it's limited on what it can see. And the ultrasound cannot determine how hard the liver is. And then the fibroscan came back as unreliable, so that's why the liver doctor wanted to get a MRI done instead because the fibroscan didn't work. I don't know why. There's several reasons. Some are bad, some are not so bad, but we don't know for sure. So, but I asked the liver doctor, what's the chances of us absolutely needing to have an MRI of my liver at some point in the future? Is it going to be crucial, especially as my liver cirrhosis progresses, to have that MRI so we know for sure exactly where it's at, how hard it is? Is there anything else going on in my abdomen, like ascites, fluid buildup in my abdomen? So I was like, or can we always get by without it? And she replies like, I'm sorry, but I can't guarantee we'll never need it. Most likely we will have to have it done at some point. I was like, yeah, for proper diagnosis and proper treatment, depending on what it shows. So it's like, great. So I am going to get an attorney after Thanksgiving. So first week of December, I'm going to reach out to an attorney who handles medical malpractice lawsuits in Nebraska to see if they agree that I have a case, because I looked it up online, what you need to prove in order to have a successful medical malpractice lawsuit. And there's 4 criterias. And from what I read on them, I meet all 4 criteria. So I'm going to pursue it. But I'm hoping I'll hear back from the ENT doctor at some point, because I didn't want to pursue it until I hear back from ENT. So I'm going to message the ENT nurse again on next Monday. But I don't know if she's working next week or not, because it's the Thanksgiving week. But I'm going to message her to say, hey, have you had a chance to talk to the Inspire rep? What did they say? So, but if I don't hear back from her, if she doesn't reply back, then yeah, the following week after Thanksgiving, I will contact an attorney who handles those types of lawsuits and see what they say, see if they agree if I do have a case or not. So, part of it is also, I had the new sleep study done this past Tuesday to see where I'm at with my Inspire device, to see if I have it on the correct setting, because you have to, the people who have this device have to judge it for ourselves first to get to a setting, and I'm on level 9 of 11, and I thought that felt like it was a good place for it. Well, so I had my sleep study done, and she came that morning, she talked to me. It's like, yeah, I'm recommending no changes for you. Setting 9 was the correct setting. And yeah, so it's working. She said I had just a minimum amount of episodes where I stopped breathing at night. It was very minimum, she said. So no, this is working perfectly for you. So I thank you, but that's going to make my decision even harder on whether or not to have the Inspire device removed, because it's working. It's working like it should. So that's going to make my decision so hard. It's like, do I leave it in and gamble that there won't be a need in the future to have an MRI done on my liver? Or do I take it out to be sure I can get an MRI when needed in the future? I'm stressing out over this. This is definitely mental anguish. First, I had to stress big time over whether to get it or not, but no, they said several times, no worries, don't worry, you'll be able to get an MRI. Instead of saying, no, you should be able to, but we can't guarantee it. They would have just said that to me. I would not have got the Inspire device implanted. So I got a case, I believe. So, but yeah, let's see, is there anything else? No, this week for my myasthenia gravis, just more balance issues. I went outside and did more yard work with leaves, and I went ahead and bought a leaf blower that also sucks the leaves in and mulches them into a bag. So thought that would be a lot easier on my body and my muscles, instead of having to do all that manual labor of raking up the leaves, bending down, picking the leaves up. So this way I can just walk around, and it has its own pain points. It's hard on the back because you got this big blower with the bag attached, and as the bag fills up, it adds more weight. Now I got a strap to hold up the blower, and then a strap to hold up the leaf bag. But it's still, sometimes I have to lift it up a little bit and move it around. So I'm still working my right arm, which is always really sore afterwards. And I do get have balance issues, especially when I'm like having to turn around doing the leaves or back up a little bit. I lose my balance. Thankfully, I haven't fell yet, but I do lose my balance. So, all right, folks, that's the update for you. Again, I'm going to take my 7.5 shot of Mounjaro, but I'm not going to show you that. So, all right, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy this time of year. Hopefully you got family get-togethers happening. So just enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Tell them you love them. Never miss a chance to do that. So, all right, folks, have a great one. I love you all. Bye bye.